You notice it in quiet rooms. You listen, but you're already 3 steps ahead. You laugh at the right time, then go home and feel nothing. Somewhere inside, you realize you don't miss people. You miss distance. You wake up with a mind that never stops moving. It arranges conversations before they happen. It replays old ones, correcting sentences no one will ever hear. You sit with others and feel like a visitor. You understand them, but they don't reach you, so you nod. You keep things light. You become easy to be around. Later, when you're alone, the noise returns. Not loud, precise. A list of thoughts stacked like files in a cabinet you can't close. You don't show confusion, you show control. You don't show need, you show humor. You don't show fear, you show competence. People say you're deep. What they don't see is how carefully you hide. You cancel plans for reasons that sound logical. You answer messages with perfect timing, but never with your whole self. You want connection. You just don't want exposure. Sometimes you wonder if something is missing. Sometimes you wonder if something is protecting you. Imagine your mind as a house with many rooms. Most people live in the living room. You live in the control room. There are screens everywhere. Each screen shows a different outcome. You watch them all at once. Your ego wears a mask, not to impress, to filter. Your shadow stands behind the wall, taking notes. It remembers every time being open cost you something. It remembers every time being honest made things complicated. So the mind builds a gate, not a wall. A gate. A gate that looks friendly but opens slowly. Intelligence learns patterns quickly. It learns where things break. It learns where people change. So it starts predicting, then preventing, and then avoiding. You don't withdraw because you dislike people. You withdraw because you see too much. The mind becomes a locked room with good lighting. Clean, quiet, safe, and slowly empty. Phase 1. The first crack. One day you notice you're not tired of people. You're tired of managing yourself around them, and you see yourself choosing words like tools, placing reactions like furniture, arranging your personality to fit the space. For a moment, you watch yourself from the outside. Phase 2, the observer. You stop jumping into every emotion. You stand a little behind it. When someone speaks, you watch your own response forming. You don't stop it. You just notice how automatic it is, like a machine you built a long time ago. Phase 3. The motive. You realize the machine was built to avoid loss, not big loss. Small ones. Misunderstanding, rejection, being seen too clearly. So you learn to stay slightly out of reach, close enough to be liked, far enough to be safe. Phase 4. The distance. Now you start feeling space inside your reactions. A pause. A thin silence between stimulus and response. You don't disappear. You just don't merge. Phase 5. The quiet control. You choose when to step in and when to step back. Not from fear, from clarity. The inner world changes before the outer one does. The room inside your head gets quieter. Not empty. Clear. Thoughts still come, but they don't push. Emotions still rise, but they don't pull. You start noticing how often people speak to be filled, how often they move to avoid stillness, how often they confuse noise with connection. You listen more. You explain less. You see manipulation before it's finished being formed. You see guilt before it's spoken. You see promises before they break. And because you see it, it loses power. You're not colder, you're less reactive, not distant, just unhooked. Here's the part no one says out loud. Some intelligent people are lonely not because they're misunderstood, but because they understand too early. They see the structure behind the gesture. The need behind the smile, the pattern behind the personality. And once you see the machinery, it's hard to pretend it's magic again. So you don't chase closeness, you allow it. You don't fear being alone. You fear becoming unaware. And in that quiet space, you realize something simple and heavy. You were never meant to be isolated. You were meant to be selective. And from now on, you'll start noticing the gate, when it opens, when it stays closed. And you'll realize you're not watching people. You're watching yourself choose how close the world is allowed to get.